I never imagined my own daughter would greet me on Christmas night with the words, "Mom, you've lost everything." But that was exactly what happened the moment I stepped into the house I had owned for more than 40 years. Lena stood near the center of the living room, chin lifted, arms crossed tight across her sequined dress as if she were bracing for applause. Beside her, Gloria Foster. My daughter's mother-in-law smiled like someone who had finally won a long, petty war. Gloria lifted her glass toward me as if it were a toast. "It is done," Lena said, her voice steady in a way that told me she had practiced this moment. "The house is sold. Every cent of Gloria's debt is taken care of." I closed the door behind me. My name is Miriam Cole, and at 72 years old, I thought I had seen enough of life to stop being shocked. I was wrong. The room fell quiet, not because anyone felt guilty, but because they wanted to see how I would break. But I did not break. Gloria's smile stretched a little too wide. She leaned forward, eyes sharp. "Why are you looking at us like that? What's so funny?" I slipped my gloves off slowly and set them on the entry table. My heart was steady, calmer than it had been in months. Lena watched me with an expression I had not seen since she was a teenager, defiant, trembling underneath. I took one step forward. "The house you sold," I said, letting the words land gently, "is actually—" Someone gasped. A man in the back muttered something under his breath. I did not look at them. I kept my eyes on Lena. The daughter I had once taught how to braid her hair, how to balance a checkbook, how to tell the truth even when it stung. She blinked. The first crack in her confidence, Gloria opened her mouth to speak again, but the sound of her voice blurred as the months of everything they had done began pressing up against the moment. I stopped speaking right there, letting the unfinished sentence hang in the air like a weight neither of them knew how to lift. This was the night everything came to the surface. To understand why I stood so calmly in front of the two women who tried to strip my life down to nothing, you have to know how it all began. 3 months before that Christmas night, I opened my front door to find Gloria Foster standing on my porch with 4 suitcases, a garment bag, and the expression of someone arriving at a fully staffed hotel. She did not wait to be invited inside. She swept past me, trailing perfume and entitlement. "I need a place for a few weeks," she announced, dropping a suitcase so hard it thudded against my hardwood. Banks can be so cruel. They took the condo without warning. Again, I blinked. "Gloria, your second foreclosure." She waved a hand as if swatting away a fly. "Paperwork mix-up, nothing to worry about." Before I could respond, Lena rushed in behind her, flushed and breathless. "Mom, please. Just until she figures things out." I looked at my daughter, 42 years old, still trying to smooth over every disaster Gloria created. "Lena, I don't mind helping, but 4 suitcases." Gloria stiffened. "These are essentials." I bit back my instinct to argue. "Fine. The guest room is made up." Gloria shot me a sharp look. "Guest room. With that tiny closet, I will need the larger bedroom." "That is my bedroom," I said quietly. She didn't apologize. She didn't even pretend to. She simply turned away, calling over her shoulder, "We will make it work." Lena placed a hand on my arm. "Mom, she is under so much stress. Please be patient." I nodded, though a dull ache settled behind my ribs. Within a week, Gloria had rearranged half the kitchen. She moved my medication to a different shelf to prevent clutter. She criticized my grocery choices. She questioned the temperature I kept the house. Every suggestion came with a tight smile, as if she were the rightful caretaker and I the confused old woman. One afternoon, I caught her at my desk, scribbling numbers onto a credit application. "Gloria," I said, "is that my address?" She glanced up, unfazed. "Lenders take applications more seriously when the address is stable." "It is not a big deal. It is a very big deal, I said, but she had already sealed the envelope. I stood there, realizing something in my home had shifted. The woman temporarily needing help had begun claiming territory inch by inch. And I had no idea her presence was only the surface of a much deeper mess already forming beneath my feet. The dizzy spell hit me on a Thursday morning. One moment I was stirring tea. The next, the floor swayed under my feet, and I had to grip the counter until the room stopped tilting. I told myself it was age, dehydration, maybe a skipped breakfast, but Lena reacted as if I had collapsed on the sidewalk. Mom, this is exactly why we need a plan. She insisted that evening, sitting across from me at the kitchen table. She had brought a neat stack of documents printed on crisp white paper. If something happens, I need authority to sign hospital forms or talk to doctors. This is normal. I rubbed my temples. Lena, I appreciate your concern, but it was one dizzy spell. Mom, her voice sharpened. You live alone. You are 72. This is for emergencies only, I swear. Gloria, lounging at the end of the table, chimed in with a sigh. Let the girl help you. Miriam, you act as if she is stealing your life. My stomach tightened, but I reached for the pen anyway. Lena watched every stroke of my signature, eyes following the ink like it was a victory she had been waiting for. Good, she said softly. Now I can handle the boring stuff for you. What exactly did I sign, I asked. Just a durable power of attorney. Lena replied quickly. Routine. Mostly for hospital paperwork, and a title access form so I can update insurance records. Nothing that changes ownership. I nodded, though something in me twitched. The next afternoon, Ruby knocked on my back door with a plate of lemon squares. She spotted the stack of papers on my counter and frowned. What's all that? Just something Lena brought over, I said, for emergencies. Ruby flipped through the first page and let out a low whistle. People do not need this much authority to pay your bills. I felt a cold ripple crawl up my arms. What do you mean? She tapped a paragraph near the bottom. This line here. It allows property transfer under certain conditions. You sure you agreed to that? I stared at the page, trying to remember if Lena had mentioned anything about transferring anything. She had not. Ruby set the papers down slowly. You need to be careful. I folded the documents back into their envelope, but the words Ruby pointed at kept burning through my mind. The signature they used to betray me in the end was mine, but the plan behind it was never mine at all. The first envelope came on a Monday morning, a thick yellow packet addressed to Gloria, stamped with the words, Urgent Legal Notice. She opened it at my dining table as if she were unwrapping a holiday card. Oh, this again? She muttered, flipping through the pages. They are ridiculous. They claim I owe them over $30,000. Pure nonsense. Before I could speak, another packet slid through the mail slot, then a third. By the end of the week, the stack on my counter looked like a small courthouse. Lena tore one open herself and froze. Mom, these are lawsuits. There's a tax lien, and this one is from some loan company. Did you take out a predatory loan? Gloria tossed her hair back. A woman has needs. Sometimes interest is high. It is not fatal. It could be, Lena whispered. Evan's family reads public records. If his aunt sees this, there it is, Gloria snapped, pointing a manicured finger. You care more about what Evan's relatives think than your own mother-in-law drowning here. Lena's face crumpled. That is not fair. Only you care about me, Gloria said, lowering her voice to a trembling murmur. Everyone else is waiting for me to fail again. I watched the scene unfold. The same cycle I had seen for years, Gloria flailing. Lena absorbing the impact. Evan staying carefully out of the room that night. As Lena paced my kitchen, she said, if we could get ahead of these debts, Mom, just clear them all. Gloria could start over. Lena, I said gently. These debts are hers, not yours. Not mine. She will lose everything, Lena said, and Evan will be humiliated. This is a family disaster. It is Gloria's disaster, I corrected. She shook her head, already spiraling. There has to be a way to solve all of this at once. I caught her staring at her phone, her thumb frozen over an open browser tab. My address, my house, my home value listed in bold numbers. When she spoke again, her voice was strangely calm. Selling your house would clear every cent of what she owes. All of it. I felt a slow chill move through me. Later that evening, I overheard her telling Evan, Mom already agreed. She wants to help. That was the moment the truth settled like a stone in my chest. My daughter had chosen Gloria's future over mine. The email arrived on a Wednesday evening. Subject line sparkling with holiday emojis. Lena's Christmas showcase. I almost deleted it, assuming it was one of her office newsletters. But then I saw the photo attached a wide shot of my own living room. Staged like something out of a magazine. I opened it slowly. The tree was positioned differently. My armchair moved. The lighting softened. Something in the picture felt wrong. Too polished. Too arranged. I pinched the image larger. In the corner of the mirror above the console table, a small reflection caught my eye, an open real estate brochure. My stomach tightened. 10 minutes later, Ruby was at my kitchen table with her laptop, adjusting her glasses. All right, hun. Tell me exactly what you saw. I pointed at the photo again. It looks like the house was being prepared for something. Ruby typed my address into a search bar. Her frown deepened. Then she turned the screen toward me. My house, my Eastmoreland home, was sitting on Zillow with bright blue buttons beneath it. For sale. 5 days listed. Pending interest. I gripped the edge of the table. Ruby, I never agreed to this. She squeezed my hand, but did not look away from the screen. Call her. I did. Lena answered on the second ring. Voice bright. Mom, did you get my party invite? Why is my house listed online? I asked. A long silence. Then, that must be old data. Mom, do not stress over that. It is being handled. Being handled. I repeated quietly. Everything is under control, she insisted, her tone flattening. Just trust me. When the call ended, I dialed Janet Morales, my friend from nursing school who had gone into real estate law. She listened without interrupting and told me to stay on the line. 15 minutes later, she came back. Miriam, a home equity line was opened in your name 3 weeks ago, over $140,000, and there is a pending sale agreement. Your signature is nowhere in the file. But Lena used the power of attorney. I pressed my palm to my forehead. Is the sale final? No. But a buyer has already put down earnest money. Who? A man named Tom Lang. Janet exhaled sharply. Non-refundable deposit. He thinks he got a good price. My hands were trembling. But not from fear anymore. From clarity. If they wanted to sell my home, they should have checked who actually owned it. I stood in the middle of my own living room, the room they had tried to stage without me, and finished the sentence they had been waiting for. The house you sold, I said, letting my voice settle into the silence, is actually still legally mine. Lena blinked hard, as if the words bounced off her. Mom, that is not possible. Everything is already processed. Nothing was processed. I replied, because nothing you did was lawful. Gloria's hand tightened around her glass. Do not start with your dramatics. Miriam, no dramatics. I said, just facts. You used the power of attorney to open a home equity line in my name, over $140,000 thou. And you forged lender statements to push a sale I never approved. Lena's face drained of color. Mom, and you attempted a title transfer using language hidden in the POA. I continued. pulling a folded page from my coat. But you misread the clause. It required direct owner consent for any property conveyance, which you never received. Someone in the back whispered, "Oh my God." Across the room, Tom Lang stood up from the sofa. His voice cracked. "You told me the owner approved. You said everything was clean." Lena's lips trembled. "Tom, I was trying to save my family. My mother-in-law. Your mother-in-law." Tom's voice rose. "You took $85,000 from me because of her." Evan stepped closer. His eyes locked on Lena. "Did my mother force you into this?" Gloria scoffed. "She is being dramatic. We were solving problems. You were committing fraud." I said, "financial elder abuse." To be precise. Lena shook her head violently. "Mom, I did it to save family. You do not understand the pressure, sir." "I understand perfectly," I said, "which is why I revoked the power of attorney last week and filed a formal complaint with the county." Gloria's glass slipped from her hand. Lena staggered backward. Tom cursed under his breath. I folded the paper and placed it on the coffee table between us. Exposing them publicly was only step one. 3 days after the Christmas disaster, Gloria's voice thundered through my voicemail rage. Panic, and something sharper beneath it. By the 4th message, her fury had dissolved into hysteria. Tom Lang's attorney had filed a demand letter. The bank had frozen every account she controlled. Her credit lines opened with my address were under review. That afternoon, Lena appeared on my porch with her hair unbrushed and her eyes swollen. She did not knock. She walked straight into my living room and collapsed onto the sofa. "Mom, please," she whispered. "Please tell them you agreed. Tell the bank we misunderstood. You can undo this." I sat across from her. "I am not undoing what you did." She shook her head rapidly, as if refusing to hear the words. "I was trying to save everyone. Gloria was drowning. Evan's family would have found out. I thought you would understand. You thought I would fix it," I said. Like every other mess, Lena reached for my hand, clutching it with both of hers. "Mom, you have to save us. Tom is threatening to sue. The bank says we committed fraud. If you step in, no." My voice surprised even me, steady, unmoved. "I taught you how to clean your room, Lena, not how to clean your crimes." She flinched. "Please, I am begging you." Begging is not the same as taking responsibility. The front door opened quietly. Evan stepped inside. Eyes lowered. "Miriam, I am so sorry," he said. "I did not know she lied. She told me you approved everything." Lena turned on him. "Evan, do not do this now." But he faced me instead. If I had known, I would never have let any of this happen. His sincerity stung more than Lena's tears. As they argued softly between themselves, my mail slot clicked. I retrieved 2 envelopes addressed to Gloria, both from lenders I did not recognize. Applications, credit checks. She had tried to open more accounts even after moving into my house. I placed the letters on the coffee table, beside Lena's trembling hands. Mercy was never their problem. Accountability was, Janet spread the documents across her dining table, my signature. Gloria's forged statements, lender emails, the pending sale agreement, and the home equity line pulled without my consent. She tapped each stack with the same precision she used back when we worked side by side in the hospital. "Everything we need is here," she said. "Now we make them show up." We drafted 6 formal letters, typed in clean, unemotional language. A required resolution meeting at the Multnomah County Building. Attendees: Lena Foster, Gloria Foster, Evan Foster, Tom Lang, a representative from the bank, and a county legal mediator. Janet slid the envelopes toward me. "Send them certified. No one can say they were blindsided." I mailed them the next morning. By evening, Gloria was calling every hour. When I finally picked up, she sounded strangely triumphant. Good. A meeting. You finally came to your senses. We can settle this quietly. It is not a negotiation, I said. She laughed, a sharp, dismissive sound. You are not strong enough to fight us. Miriam, let us fix things together. After I hung up, Janet walked in holding another sheet of paper. You need to see this. It was a notice from the Postal Service. A request to change my mailing address to a private mailbox across town. Gloria filed this 2 months ago. Janet said, if it had processed, all your bank letters would have gone straight to her. I held the paper between my fingers. She wanted full control. She almost had it. Janet replied, but not anymore. We gathered every file into 2 black binders and slipped them into my bag. I locked my front door behind us that night with a calm I had not felt in years. I was not preparing to win. I was preparing to end the entire cycle. The Multnomah County boardroom was already half full when I walked in with Janet. Lena sat rigid in the front row, cheeks blotched from crying. Evan kept his distance, staring at the floor. Tom Lang stood near the doorway with his attorney, jaw locked. And Gloria, dressed like she was attending a coronation, smiled at me as if she had already won. Finally, she said, let's settle this like adults. This is not a settlement, I replied, placing 2 thick black binders on the table. This is disclosure. The mediator nodded for me to begin. I opened the first binder and laid out each page. These are the forged emails sent to the lender. These are the unauthorized power of attorney transactions. This is the home equity line for over $140,000. And this, I slid a tablet forward, is a live stream recording of Gloria boasting that the house would be hers by Christmas. The room erupted. That video was a joke, Gloria shrieked. It was evidence. The mediator corrected calmly. I continued. Here is proof of the attempted title transfer, the fraudulent property permissions, and the earnest money agreement. None of it had my consent. Lena covered her mouth with both hands. Mom, please. But the board had already deliberated. A representative from the banking panel spoke first. Gloria Foster is flagged as a high-risk borrower for 5 years. All open applications are frozen immediately. Tom Lang's attorney stepped forward. My client will be reimbursed. A lien will be placed on Gloria Foster's assets until the full amount is recovered. Then the mediator turned to Lena. Your actions qualify for a formal elder financial abuse investigation. You will receive notice. Lena collapsed into the chair beside her. Gloria sputtered. This is absurd. The house is ours. This can be undone. That reminds me, I said, reaching into my bag. There is one more document. I placed the final sheet on the table. I transferred the house into the Women's Financial Justice Trust, a fund for elderly women whose families exploit them. Gloria lurched forward. You gave away our house. It was never yours, I said, my voice steady. And now it will protect women you would have destroyed. The room settled into stunned silence. The kind that finally told the truth. But the real ending was never about them. It was about me. I carried the last box up the narrow stairs of my new apartment near Selwood Riverfront Park. It was smaller than the home I had lived in for more than 4 decades. But the moment I stepped inside, I felt something I had not felt in years, quiet, that did not demand anything from me. Ruby arrived first, holding a bag of pastries and a roll of tape. All right, hun, she said. Show me where you want the plates before you forget where you put them. Janet came an hour later with a lamp she insisted would make the living room less like a monk's quarters. 2 neighbors from the building helped move the small sofa, the one piece of furniture I had kept. No one told me how I should arrange things. No one criticized. No one hovered over my choices. By evening, we had a table set with mismatched bowls, a string of cheap white lights taped along the window, and a tiny artificial tree that Ruby brought because she could not stand the idea of a Christmas without at least one bulb flickering. We sat around the table with cups of warm cider. Janet raised hers first. To beginnings chosen, not inherited, Ruby added, and to family the real kind. I felt the words settle into me. For the first time in decades, the people around my table were there because they cared, not because they needed something, not because they wanted control, not because they felt entitled to my life. Later, after everyone left, I stood in front of the little tree with its 5 crooked ornaments. The room was quiet, but not empty. My chest loosened in a way it had not during any holiday I could remember. "This home is mine," I whispered, touching the top branch gently, "because no one here wants something from me. If you made it this far, thank you for listening to my story. Like this, leave a comment, or subscribe if you want more stories like mine. Stories of women finding their voices again." I turned off the lights and walked toward the bedroom, the soft glow of the tree following me. I did not lose my house. I traded it for a life that finally belonged to me.